it is. This phone straight. Just popping up with an open vibe. In this retrograde vibe. Doing some introspective work. With this Capricorn energy, having to plan out things more. What's up, Militia Hair? And also just running about the crystals I've been working with, movies I've been watching. But definitely, again, tapping in with the crystals, and even like, you know, getting deeper into the perspective of like understanding, you know, like with moving forward with, you know, the quote unquote metaverse stuff and cryptocurrency, you know what I'm saying? And the whole simulation within a simulation vibe. And somewhat of a Q&A too. Matter of fact, Miss Militia, can you hear me? Is the volume on point? Speaking of crystals, working with the sapphires, got me some green and yellow sapphires. Also got some star sapphires and star rubies. This camera. Matter of fact, and the black sapphire is real good for psychic protection. Matter of fact, I find that the star sapphire, I had to make me a piece with that. And matter of fact, shout out to the chrysoprase I got recently too, as a little extra gift from a company I ordered from. But like I got the Shoutout and the sapphire. Man, Shoutout and black sapphire in general, but I would say, you know, again, like the pieces that are black, you know, and the pieces that are black are kind of like a mixture of all the, you know, literally that's what black is, a mixture of all the colors, you know, so it's kind of a mixture of the yellow, green, and you could say red, which red sapphires or red corundum is basically a ruby. You know, sapphires and rubies are basically like the same crystal, you know, except for rubies have more chromium in it, you know, and sapphires or blue sapphires that have more of the titanium in it. And also something I realized to be aware of with working with crystals is like, you know, the different chemistries of certain crystals, where some crystals promote like alkalinity and some crystals promote, you know, acidic energies. And, you know, also bringing it full circle again to like, you know, why crystals are so much of a, you know, an important factor in our spiritual growth, you know, because it's definitely a great reminder, you know, of our, you know, our energetic build and just, you know, how we are as a being, where it's a mixture of, you know, balancing all different realms. You know, it's the fire, the earth, the air and water, you know, that goes into, you know, the development of crystals. But what I really, you know, peeped out is like quartz. Another reason why quartz is so popular, for sure. Again, they use quartz in, you know, computers, you know, in the motherboards, and you know, the oscillators in computers and in, you know, watches. But realizing that quartz is like a representation of, you know, one of the most balanced, like full circle spectrum of like all the elements, because quartz is able to grow into, you know, like matter of fact, like you see this the smoky quartz, like it's able to get this type of shape because of the air pockets. Like it grows in like a geode or air pocket. That's why you see the big amethyst geodes. That's one of the most popular, geodes that's shown a lot of times is the amethyst geodes. And they be, some will be as big, as tall as a house down there in essence. But it's that mixture of all the different elements that go into it. Now again, you got the fire element coming from the magma, you know what I'm saying, and that's fire and earth in essence, you know what I'm saying. So the fire and earth aspect, and then you got the water, because again, like the silica are like, and that's like for opals too. Like opals are high in water content as well, but you got like little pockets of water underneath the crust, you know what I'm saying? And that goes into the development of quartz. But again, also the air element. And, the air element is not always as present, at least like in the development underneath the crust, because again, you got secondary crystals or crystals that form from, being out in the outside of the crust and, allowing for weather and things to, like change its development. But, crystal quartz, develops underneath the crust and has, all these different, it develops underneath the crust and allows for, again, these air pockets to allow for it to shape like this. Hence why I could have like that type of shape. So quote unquote perfectly, because it has an air pocket or the air bubble for it to grow in. What's up, everybody? Jeremiah, Darren, what's up? Amber, what's up, Miss Amber? Man of Letters, what's up? Yeah, I'm a fan. Which honestly, I keep it real. I barely would work with, with amethyst. Like I'm kind of like, I have like a every now and then type of vibe with amethyst. I know I'm feeling that vibe to connect with some malachite again, because I usually keep a nice malachite collection. I know that the chrysocolla I got has a little malachite in it, so it that's been having like some type of connection to the malachite, but I ain't had like a solid piece of malachite in a minute. But again, like with different, crystals, either having like either a hydrogen ion, I got a few of this, like a hydrogen positive ion, which in essence, I know it sounds backwards, but again, it's like the negative ions are more positive for our body, are more healthy for our body. And I also see like again, like with everything in our development, it's about balancing the yin and yang, balancing mama and daddy within, you know what I'm saying? Like and I realize alkalinity lines up with the divine feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? Because, think about it, like most things that help with alkalinity, for one, it's a negative ion, and the negative energy in essence is like the feminine energy is more passive. Positive is outwardly, outward going, like the masculine energy, and again, the negative is more receptive or pulling in energies. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing like with the yoni, the yoni and the phallus, vagina, penis, however you want to say it, whatever floats your boat. But, seeing that, again, like that whole little storyline is even in the crystals. And again, like where it all goes back to, that's why the now moment is like so important, because I realize again, like the past, is more so that divine feminine energy, and the future is like the divine masculine energy, because the past is more tapped into, again, water and earth, memories, values, you know what I'm saying? In the masculine aspect, air and fire is about quick movement, or like constantly moving, again, because what, what the future is about, like stay in motion, like stay moving, you know what I'm saying? Because even with, the whole thing with the, with tapping in, and it's not, because there's a difference, and that's the whole game too, you know what I'm saying? Everything is neutral until somebody put their hands on it. And I had to realize I had to sit with myself, because at one point I was kind of like, oh no, man, that metaverse stuff and all that, and the computers and AI, like they're just trying to get AI to control. And I'm like, higher self sat me down and was like, it's here, it's now, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no, taking it away. And what it's really about, like any type of inner work, it's about understanding that aspect of self, and again, not creating that them against us type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like with a crystal, sunlight, water, all of it is a double-edged sword. It just depends on, how you're, how much you're using it, and again, like the balance of using it, like, using it in moderation and things of this nature. But like with the, with the metaverse thing, it's like, of course, the metaverse from the perspective of what's being promoted by, Mark Zuckerberg or whoever, you know what I'm saying? Of course, there might be some type of little scheme to that, but it's like, all right, this realm is going to exist one way or the other. So, again, we are creating a situation where, all right, let's make, let's make this quote unquote metaverse, or dealing with technology or artificial intelligence, something that is beneficial and balanced, you know what I'm saying? Because again, within this realm, the trees is, the trees in essence is an artificial intelligence just as much as, a computer, you know. Again, like this is a simulation. This is, I's and O's, ones and zeros, no matter how you want to slice it, you know what I'm saying? It's just that trees and nature is the more familiar perspective, because it's, closer to that mama energy. And matter of fact, that make me think of some of the notes I just took, because that was also like the perspective in the show. It was a show on Netflix called Maniac. Yeah, Maniac. And basically just getting straight to the point I'm getting at with it, this guy created a simulation, with this computer simulation, and it was based like the software was based off of his mom, so basically, like, this whole little world was based off of his mom's energy, you know what I'm saying? And, looking at this realm, you know what I'm saying, this simulation, it's based off of mother energy. It's kind of like a masculine energy went into creating it, but it's based off of feminine energy, and again, that goes into the tarot cards, or, where the tarot cards, where some tarot cards don't do it no more. They call it the page, instead of like the princess. But like the princess aspect within the tarot is like the earth aspect, no matter which, so it could be the princess of wands, aka the princess of fire, or earth and fire, or it could be the princess of cups, you know what I'm saying, which is water and earth, you know what I'm saying, the princess of swords, which is, air and earth, but it deals with that earth energy. And again, like the movie Labyrinth, where the princess, like it's always that story of the princess either forgetting who she is, or, you know what I'm saying, or trying not to be who she is. Kind of like, that's also Jupiter ascending, because I was watching that not too long ago too, and just seeing like these connections with Jupiter as well. Because a lot of things, bring up Jupiter, whether it's blatantly, like, or overtly or subtly, Jupiter is like brought up. Because I think about watching the show Twin Peaks, and the great conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn was brought up, you know what I'm saying? And the great conjunction was with Jupiter and Saturn was what, It was December 21st. Let's see. Thought I had it in my notes. But it was like December 21st, 2021, if I'm not mistaken. But again, like, it's like this importance with Jupiter, in every situation. As a matter of fact, depending on the mythology, like with what it is, Greek mythology, Jupiter is Zeus. Roman is Jupiter, but in Greek mythology is Zeus, and in essence, like, and you start to see it, and once you start to understand astrology and then read mythology, you start to see, like, all right, damn, it's like a little story of, the elements, a story of all the different planetary energies or star systems, you know what I'm saying? And they just remixed it into some characters like, again, John and Paul, and you know what I'm saying? Because again, the four main gospels is like the fixed signs of the zodiac, you know what I'm saying? And like with quote unquote Yeshua energy, or what some may call Jesus, it's like a mixture of two energies. It's the sun and Jupiter. Jupiter Zeus, you know what I'm saying? Jesus, Jupiter Zeus, so it's like the sun energy, because again, like the whole December 25th, and the resurrection around April, that's talking about the sun, but it's also connected to, the Jupiter energy as well. And I feel like, like the Jupiter energy, is with the expansion aspect. So it's about like, like expanding the universe, expanding the realm, Yeah. Peace. It's the Andre, Sarah, Dara 77. Militia Hair, appreciate it. Yep, get it right. Right, Amber Ellis, that part. Again, like, I think that's just the understanding, like the reincarnation cycles and all this is like to just, again, like learning from, past lifetime mistakes, and not only just past lives as a, as a quote unquote human, but just in general, you know what I'm saying? Like even outside the human experience, like understanding, like, all right, what, caused so much of a disruption. And it was like, again, like creating the them against us type of vibe, and understanding, like, yes, there is contrast in this realm. Yes, there is energies that, promote certain toxic energies, but again, it's like understanding that that toxicity, exists for a reason. And again, like I made a joke about, like, I might be interconnected with the gas at the gas station, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go to the gas station and go ask for $20 on pump one and then pour the gas in my mouth and drink it. So definitely like a little understanding with that balance, for sure. But yeah, like with the crystals and just, again, like the now moment is the equilibrium to the past, or the mama, and the future, the father, the middle pillar, or the child with the understanding of all elements. And the quartz being, again, like, quote unquote epitome of, that little collection of all the different elements, and even the fifth element, like the etheric element, because again, the quartz allows for us to tap in with the ethers, you know what I'm saying, to the quote unquote unseen with the two, with the two eyes. But, again, like, embracing, like, again, like with the connection with artificial intelligence, and I remember like channeling that a while back, like where I had a video. This was like 2015 or 16, early in the game, where I was like, like Star Wars. I'm like, imagine if you were so in your ego, you would just want to harm all kind of things, because there's all type of different looking beings, and you know what I'm saying, and energies on that level. You know what I'm saying. That's why one of the main things was like, transmuting the toxic energies of the ego and transmuting, that judgmental energy, especially upon appearance, because again, it's about the energy that's felt. It might be somebody out there that look like, again, like that's why I brought up, like look like Jabba the Hutt, but you know what I'm saying. For those of y'all that might be familiar with Star Wars, but it's the big worm, big glob worm looking thing, you know what I'm saying. But somebody might look like Jabba the Hutt, but then be a pure of heart and helpful and trustworthy to, like their energy, is, very helpful to you on your growth. You know what I'm saying? You be done turned that person into somebody, you know what I'm saying, to be an enemy because of, like, again, like those attachments to, like what somebody appear to be and stuff like that. But, and again, it's like that connection with, the ghost in the machine, the ghost slash God or deity in the machine. And again, this is already happening just by us being, again, this plane of existence is like a simulation. It is a simulation. It is like like a computer, for lack of a better word. And again, like what you'll see, like the beef of, like, say for instance, people who like against the quote unquote metaverse in past lives, they were on the extreme feminine side, on the extreme memory slash keep things, the same, keep things, the way it's always been, don't change anything type of vibe, and again, like the technology aspect, that's extreme masculine, like, oh, we gotta, the future, gotta create something for the future, you know what I'm saying. It's like, all right, grab mama hand, grab daddy hand, you know, and be present in the now moment. And again, that's like what the crystals do. Because even in the personification, I thought Steven Universe, again, like where he's, and that's also what I see a lot, like the theme in a lot of different little, shows and movies. It's like half human, half quote unquote alien. But again, not necessarily an alien, more so just a primordial aspect. It seems alien, to what's going on Earth in the now moment, but it's really like a primordial aspect. It's more so, if anything, it's like instead of alien, you could just say ancient. And hence the History Channel trying to play on the ancient alien, little vibe. But what came to me too was like with Westworld. On Westworld, they basically was using the park Westworld. Basically, it's about this little park, and it was nothing but androids, but a real, it's like a real live experience. And you go to the park and you go into the little world, you know what I'm saying, into the little portal. And again, it's all, computerized androids or whatever. And they're interacting with humans, but they were programmed to, not harm the humans. And from that perspective, you got to see the layers in it, like the humans, to them, to the androids in the park, were like gods, you know what I'm saying, in essence, like untouchable, type of things, because again, like the humans could go up in there and do whatever they want to the androids, in essence. And just like in this realm, certain rules and things, change over, over the course of quote unquote time. But you know, also with, being in that little, again, in Westworld, the from the androids to, just the whole computer system was like picking up on all the different aspects of what people like and didn't like, and and all this was, feeding into like this one computer system, because it was also like basically the computer collecting data from everyone in the park, so it could kind of in essence predict future and predict future actions, you know. And as a matter of fact, this was kind of on 2001 Space Odyssey, 2001 A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. You had HAL 9000, you know, and HAL was just chilling, and then HAL picked up on like, wait, these humans, they untrustworthy. And again, like that's the whole aspect, is like, not to just automatically treat computers like, like, oh, it's just a computer, or, again, like it doesn't mean to put, a computerized world over the one you're living in, like living in the physical, from this perspective. But, again, like having that compassion towards, the artificial intelligence, because it is just like with anything, again, like, if you neglect it or treat it as, like you ain't shit, you know, that CPU, that artificial intelligence, has the same ability to, learn as it goes, just like how our more organic software learn as it, learn as it go on the experience, But again, towards the inner West world, that exposed that, like, where how the computer, in essence, they had one dude who kind of could figure out everybody next little move due to, all the data that was collected from the Westworld Park or whatever. And reason why I'm bringing that up, because I see how, again, like how movies, and which that's through the ethers and through computers, computers could do this too, but it's more so too like just being tapped in etherically, and doing whatever little rituals or things to get a deeper understanding. But I thought about, like, like, say for instance with Steven Universe, they had like personification of what, like, what a lot of us do on YouTube, which is like talk about metaphysics and occult spirituality, but on Steven Universe, it was this cat who owned, his dad owned a little pizza shop, and he had like a little, it was like a little show, basically like a little YouTube channel, was like about conspiracies on the boardwalk, because they live by the beach or whatever, And shout out to that little connection to Venice Beach too, from a perspective. But he was, again, like, having a little podcast talking about, basically in essence, like showing the different things that Steven Universe and the different crystals was like, doing and getting into, and how they were creating certain mysterious, mystical things are happening around here, you know what I'm saying? But, it's like seeing that ahead of time. But on the flip side, again, in certain shows and stuff, it's used to try to make it seem like it's crazy stuff, hence why, again, like, being that balancing energy of like, hey, this stuff is really real. Like, people not just out here on some like woo-ha, what I'm saying, crazy shit. Like, this is real, like crystals really work. Just look at the fact that, it's being used in computers and things of this nature, And again, upon the growth, we all go through the balance of, oh, well, because, for myself, like I find myself, it's more so when I'm going through, regressive moments, I might have that vibe of, doing a video that's talking about what, quote unquote, they doing and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's like the truest question to always ask yourself is like, how does this help me in my now moment? How is this relevant to my spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental understanding of myself right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that'll weed out a lot of the, chasing the they and what they doing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, no matter what quote unquote they doing, you know, if you ain't in alignment for yourself, not understanding yourself, again, like, that's why I always promote, like, understanding yourself internally first and foremost, doing your inner work, and then it'll reflect into whatever actions you take in this realm. You will end up being of value and helpful and being of service to the realm externally by being of service to yourself internally, because like with anything, again, in moderation, and it depends on where you at in your growth, like there's one person that could be like, oh no, universal, you gotta focus on that type of stuff and this and that, and from their perspective, they, that's true, in essence, like, and that even goes into, like, again, as above so below, as within so without. Our external experience is just like our internal quote unquote parts work, our integration work, because again, like, learning to not even call it self-sabotage in essence, but it's like, it's like parts work. It's like it's a certain part of ourselves is look like it's sabotaging because it's being neglected, or its point of view is not being honored, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, again, like the inner work of maybe like neglecting anger, like you don't see anger as a valid expression, so you suppress it. So, when you least expect it, anger pops up, in essence, seem like it's sabotaging whatever you got going on, but it's not sabotaging. It's like, hey, you treat me like I ain't shit, or like I'm, like I'm a problem, or like my expression not valid, so the only way it gets to express itself is if it pops out all crazy like that, or just all, say crazy, but like if it pops out like unpredictably, so to speak, and that's on, matter of fact, the little fantastic world of strange beast or something like that, but the little side is connected to Harry Potter. They got like two of the little movies. One is about the Wizard Griswold, and again, like that little storyline of the magicians against the humans, when it's about us understanding to embrace our humanity, you know what I'm saying, not fight. Because again, like literally, what happens if I'm at war with my human body? I am source on a human experience, you know what I'm saying? I'm quote unquote, some people use the word God, but source on a human experience, the universe on a human experience. So the moment I go to battling, humanity to that extent, it's like a everyday battle within myself, first and foremost before externally, it's like, like you might, instead of like just fasting when it's necessary and stuff like that, you might be extremely fasting, or like trying to starve the body, and trying to, harm your body, things of this nature, in the sense of like that, again, like that perspective of me against my humanity. And it goes back to, again, like, now's the vibrate, like you're in a human body right now, you know what I'm saying? So, but, I don't know where I was at on that little tangent. What's up? Oh yeah, I was talking about again that little movie. Oh, cause that's what I was gonna bring up. Talking about, like, dealing with the parts work and certain stuff jumping out. You know, they got like a type of energy. This where a certain wizards, or a certain person with magic, in their bloodline, they could it could create, like, so there was this thing called a obscura, an obscura was basically like a dark energy within a certain magical being, and that dark energy was created due to the suppression of their magical abilities and not understanding how to express it, in a healthy manner. You know what I'm saying? Because again, that's why certain movies and things again do be having a lot of truth in it. Because it's just like the Dark Crystal movie. You know what I'm saying? With the vibe of like I forgot the the light beings on the Dark Crystals, but I guess I remember the Skeksis because that name just sounds funny. But like the light beings, on the Dark Crystal, end up helping the Skeksis as well. You know what I'm saying? And the Skeksis, like say for instance within this realm, is like, you know, some of them know that. Hey, word to the squirrels right there playing. And two squirrels. All right, got a little love going on, a little relationship vibes going on. Matter of fact, a little Leo and Virgo energy just jumping into the broadcast. Cause squirrels represent like that playful, childlike Leo energy, but also like the Virgo like detail, like getting the little nuts together and organized and working, but playing while you work. So it's like that Leo Virgo cusp. And again, like everything in this realm symbolizes, some type of in it, like it has some type of archetypal energy to it. But again, with the obscura, from again, dang. But you know what I'm talking about. One of the movies got the name Griswold in the title, and it's about again a little magical, fantastic beast or whatever, something of that nature, you know. But they brought up the obscura and like understanding how to, again, and it's basically like indirectly speaking of shadow work. It's like you got to do your shadow work so you don't just be blurting out and what I'm saying, could blurt out into a rage and level a whole block or something like that, what I'm saying? And again, it's not to necessarily suppress your magic abilities, because again, that's what they were speaking on. It was like, that obscura was created through unhealthy expression, or matter of fact, it was more so speaking to too like through abuse. It was like this magical being was abused or shamed or mistreated due to their magical abilities. Because the little character, in essence, you could say like the main character in that was his name was Credence, and most of the magical people who had like obscura in them, they wouldn't live past the age of 10. But he was a unique one because he was older and he had still had his obscura with him, but again, it was like the thing was that he was so powerful that he could maintain that 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 shadow energy in essence, but again, like just doing that inner work, like again, especially right now, that's what the retrogrades for. We got Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde. Again, it's nothing, no good or bad, no right or wrong to retrograde. It only, again, like Mercury retrogrades only seem quote unquote bad because of how much people do rely on certain levels of commerce and technology. What I'm saying, and again, or like verbal communication. So it seems as if like, oh, Mercury retrograde. It's like, and again, and being aware of that, like definitely being aware to not turn anything into no monster. Like if it ain't, you know, like and watching, again, like just because so and so, oh, be scared of the retrograde and this and that, and that's why again, like, holding myself accountable for the way I express myself when sharing certain insight, because again, like definitely don't want to be creating Again, like more of that, oh, watch out for, and it's like, no, like again, how I would always bring up things, awareness without fear mongering. If it is something out there that's that much of antagonist, let's just be aware of it, but we don't have to focus on it and be, like once I know a bumblebee sting, I don't have to walk around every day like, oh, a bumblebee might sting me, because then a bumblebee gonna sting you, you know what I'm saying? Like again, like, and starting to realize how much we are creating our realities, and that's what it does, again, like developing our subconscious to know, like, hey, like nothing outside of us can harm us unless we, take in the subconscious programming to feel like, oh, everything could harm me, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when, that becomes, something that could manifest. But and also, around April 17th, from April 7th to 17th, you got the Jupiter conjunction with Neptune. And, I bring up just the conjunction in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, because, say, for instance, people who into Western astrology, they're going to say the Jupiter conjunction with Neptune is in Pisces. People that's into Vedic astrology, it'll say it's in Aquarius. Either way, it's about just being aware of that Jupiter conjunct with Neptune, and so it's gonna be like a lot of dreamy energy, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of like it's a balanced situation, because with everything, it's like having that awareness that like our like things that, and breaking out of that mind frame, but like things that we may have considered like, oh, big, like, oh, it'll be too much for that to happen. Like, no, like, expect some of your biggest quote unquote dreams to be able to happen. At the same time, again, like I did the Ten of Cups video, it's like the grounded Pisces energy. It's like, just having some level of practicality, with it, but definitely, again, like be optimistic, about, being able to create whatever it is that you want to create. And again, that's what, like, again, like the Jupiter ascending. I think of in my Esoteric Hollywood book, they show how in E.T., they had like an emphasis on the Jupiter energy, and then in Twin Peaks they brought up the grand conjunction with the great conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn, and again, like that, in essence, when you look at it from a mythology perspective, that's like Zeus and Kronos shaking hands with each other. It's like Zeus and Kronos, like, all right, we're gonna come together and work in conjunction with each other. You know what I'm saying? So again, like when you start to like see all the different layers, you read the mythologies, and and see it from an astrological perspective as well. You start to see how it's all, how like all the little stories align or whatever. But a matter of fact, it's gonna be like a lot of Pisces energy. It's gonna have like a stellar. Again, if it's Western astrology, it'll be a stellium in Pisces. If it's Vedic astrology, it'll be a stellium in Aquarius energy. But like you'll have Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune all in Pisces around this little, again, like April 17th. Matter of fact, that's what I looked up, April 17th, 2022. Again, so, and it's like, it's another important aspect, that's also around like the spring, when we're springing into action, kind of coming out of this quote unquote hibernation mode. Because although we may still be may still be taking actions and stuff right now, in essence, this is a very, again, the winter time is more so for reflection introspect, retrospect, and again going through the Mercury retrograde and the Venus retrograde, you know, and again like having awareness to not, like what I've been, picking up on is having awareness to not make, like any quick decisions, in the area of love, finances, business, you know, you could say dealing with technology as well, but more so like with relationships, love life, and finances and slash business, you know what I'm saying? Like just being aware of like, having a essence of patience, and the patience without, you want to, you don't want to get caught up in analysis paralysis of like thinking before you act, but you definitely want to be like, all right, let me, and like say for instance, a way to look at that is not necessarily thinking before you act, but allow for your intuition. So again, like be patient and allow for your intuition, allow for you to gain clarity of what's your intuitive voice in that moment, to like feel like, all right, because what happened like for me always with like doing videos is like something will come up and I'm like, that could possibly be a thought, that could possibly be some type of thought or programming, and just, keep it moving. Then the urge to come up again, like do a video on this, again, that's subtle, But again, I'm like, just to check down on myself, I'm like, it's possibly a thought, you know what I'm saying? Like some stuff just in the mental realm. Then it comes up again, so it's like, all right, that the universe is letting me know, my inner guidance system is letting me know, like, tap in with, talking about this, But again, like I had to be patient to allow for it to, to come up in that manner. All right, that's another thing too that Jupiter and Zeus energy came up in, because I watched that for the first time too in Wonder Woman. The latest, one of the recent Wonder Woman, not the 1984 one, but the other one. And matter of fact, she was like the child again, child of Zeus. Oh damn, that's also in connection too with Jupiter ascending, because Jupiter ascending. Man, oh, damn, and the Matrix. Because in the Matrix, in the newest Matrix, the little city I should have it online. Going through the labyrinth. The city in the newest Matrix was called I.O. And I.O. is considered a moon of, and again, you see, astrologically, or more so, you could say, well, astrologically, but from an astronomy perspective, it said that Jupiter has, again, this moon or satellite that they call Io, but that's also in conjunction or in alignment, or let's say corresponding with, the mythology where Zeus had one of his many consorts or whatever, and that could kind of be seen as a connection to King Solomon from the Bible as well. But Zeus had, a woman that he was connecting with called Io, you know what I'm saying? She was a mortal woman. As a matter of fact, that's a little whole story where he turned her into a cow, or, a cow, calf. No, wait. Was it? Because in one story, he turned himself into a calf, but, oh no, his wife, Zeus' god wife, Hera turned Io into like a calf or something like that, and she was being watched by Argus, the one with the bunch of eyes, because Argus also connected to the peacock. You know what I'm saying? Argus was also on what it was, American Gods, as the surveillance god in essence. He was working with the future gods though. You know what I'm saying? Because he was working through like technology of like all the surveillance cameras and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And again, like like certain God energies, being channeled through technology. Just as much as through, what I'm saying, through the physical, or should I say not physical? Excuse me. Like the more organic technology, like the trees and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was also in the storyline. But yeah, so again, like all these little connections, of like the importance of the Jupiter energy, and again, even with this conjunction coming up with Neptune, you know, and like and with everything, and some, tell me to make sure I bring this up. Again, take what resonate, leave what don't. Right now more than ever, it's like tapping into your inner guidance, and and what your inner being, what some people may call spirit, but I like to give it a specific name of just your inner guidance. You know what I'm saying? Because I realize that spirit could be any little spirit, but and not to have no fear mongering vibe, but just awareness of like just again like being specific. You know what I'm saying? Like spirit came to me. What spirit? But like yeah, like being tapped in with your own inner guidance system. First and foremost. You know, again, take what resonate, leave what don't. Because one thing I realized, with any of us talking, anybody who talks on any type of platform or whatever, what I'm saying, it's like at the end of the day, again, like we sharing from our own perspective. We all are, drawing from, in essence, the same cloud, but, it's being interpreted or it's being, shared in alignment with, our own little upbringing in this realm, in this lifetime, and our own little, traumas or lack of traumas, whatever the case may be, so always having that awareness with anything, uh, being tapped in with your inner guidance first and foremost. Hence why I did that video about chilling with the trees, because out of most things that allow for me to just be tapped in on that level, it's like being in nature, like computers or that type of technology. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like tapping in with the tree energy, it it creates like a raw connection in essence, and I even think about, hence why, like that's one thing I realized on my growth, and that's probably why when you hear stuff from me, I'm balanced on that level of reading and tapping into the intuition, because that's something else that was coming up too, like with the Edgar Casey vibe, it's like here it is where you got Edgar Casey got whole little monuments for himself, and I ain't knocking the bread, you know what I'm saying? To each his own. He came down here to, you know, he 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 is what he is. He was what he was. You know what I'm saying? That situation is what it is. But like Edgar Casey being considered like one of the best psychic of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the best. Well, here it is where it got like a ton of you know a ton of beings, indigenous beings, and I say like everybody, but for the most part, because everybody has some level of psychic ability. It's just open on different levels for different beings. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if Edgar Casey could, channel this information or write books about this stuff, and none of it had scientific proof, you know, you don't have to abide by that quote unquote rule either. But again, in the essence of depending on what you're talking about and how you're talking about it, or what you're expressing it and how you're expressing it, you know what I'm saying? Because Edgar Casey, or just with anybody, it's like when you're channeling insight, as long as you're tapped in and knowing like how much you're, channeling the insight, you know what I'm saying? Because I realized like again the books is like tapping in with the books is like again the marriage between the masculine and the feminine. The feminine aspect is like the pure intuitive factor. And again, you talk to a lot of scientists, with, with like let's say scientists, but uh for lack of a better word, recent scientists, having dreams about how a molecule looked and having, like intuitive insight. Like I did a video a while back about the man who knew infinity, about the Asian Indian brethren. So I ain't using Indian in the for another word for indigenous people in on Turtle Island, so to speak, or what we call Americas. But like this Indian brethren who, he basically like tapped into this this formula that everybody, like all these scientists was like, oh, trying to figure out this stuff, and he like intuitively came across it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like honoring the balance, because it's just like he intuitively came across that insight. He also was somebody who studied and read books as well, you know what I'm saying? But again, having that understanding that you may be the person to, write a book, you know what I'm saying? And by that, like again, like you're channeling and bringing in certain information where you meant to, write about some of these subjects and things of this nature, because I realized that early in the game, once I started watching, like certain Bobby Hemmett videos and just certain people, who was considered, like elders in talking about metaphysics, and some of the stuff they were saying was stuff that like I had flashes or insights about, growing up, you know what I'm saying, or like little hunches or intuitive feelings I had as a little kid, even like with Dr. Sebi, it's like I always, as a little kid, I always felt like AIDS and cancer was like fake on some type of vibe. I'm like, you know, and I knew that, and you could feel the collective, you could feel yourself, you could feel what's going on inside you and the collective, in the sense of like, I know what I know about this, but I also know that, saying this without any scientific proof, everybody just gonna like write it off, like, oh, well, show us that it is, prove it to us, you know. And with anything, you realize like it ain't no such thing as proving nothing to anybody. The most we do is just provide, certain insight, you know, but that's it, because again, you won't be able to prove it. Like a person, if you share something that shifts somebody's awareness, is because they had to be open and have like that cognitive ability to break down what you were saying in order to like shifting the way they view things. But again, it ain't no like changing nothing for nobody. Like I don't know how many videos I done or how many posts I done did on talking about like again how certain things that's going on right now, that's constantly being talked about on the news and all this other shit, but like how, that's just promoted on some mind game shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't care again. I don't care. All right, so and so got sick because of the, you know what I'm saying? And let's keep it real, because some of us, are still connected to, are closely around some of our, family or friends, that may still believe in some of the, again, what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, again, like I would tell any family member, like I don't care what you say. And again, like, it's like a balance of, I don't judge you for, believing in what you believe in, you know what I'm saying? To each his own. If you want to believe, everything that they give you on the news, but I know better from my studies, and I cannot, prove this or push this into your mind, especially with, the cloud of skepticism that's kind of going to try to, in essence, push out what I'm sharing, you know what I'm saying? Or, and in some cases, though, that's also what's being preyed upon, or the fear that won't allow for you to take the time to really understand what I'm saying, because that's what it really, boils down to for a lot of people, because a lot of people would get this insight, but it's like, again, like with a fear coming in so much, you know what I'm saying, word to that horn beeping, it'll just be, it's difficult to, grasp that insight on that level, you know what I'm saying? And with that being said, with this, again, with this Jupiter conjunction with Neptune, it's like, promoting awareness of solutions for ourselves, internally, you know what I'm saying, around these moments, especially, and again, going into April, you know what I'm saying, and letting ourselves be a beacon for that, externally as well. Because again, like, one of the things that I always, I start to realize more and more, especially being in California, that there's so many beings that are teaching on a high level, and they ain't never said a word, in essence. They ain't never created no platform on Instagram or YouTube to be talking on, but yet they doing a lot of talking, they doing a lot of teaching, you know what I'm saying? Because again, like, the teaching, is in our energy field, the teaching is in our actions, and again, of course, some of our actions are in alignment to express this from a more oral slash verbal perspective, you know what I'm saying? But, again, like, I've met many great teachers who won't get, matter of fact, nah, fuck the dumb shit. They getting the credit for it. They are, again, and that's the thing too, is like in the spiritual realm, you know what I'm saying? Now, they might not be getting acknowledged on this level, because even with, with having a certain amount of subscribers and how many people watch your videos and shit, that don't mean nothing in the essence of, like, that's just, in a lot of cases that could just be a bunch of numbers, because I know people who are very impactful, just as impactful as me, and got less subscribers or less people watch their videos, or again, like, people who are strong teachers, in some way, form, or fashion, but they don't have like a platform like this, and not talking, you know what I'm saying, on some level. So, it's like just being aware of that just by, doing our inner work. You are teaching. Now, again, if you keep feeling that urge and your inner voice is letting you know, like, hey, you should teach this, hey, you should express this, hey, you know what I'm saying, and yes, you know what I'm saying, but for the most part, it's like the energy does the talking, you know what I'm saying? And, like, matter of fact, I'm gonna give them a shot, I guess, because they came down into this realm, and I say came down, but in essence, but, like, shout out to these quiet, ain't asking for no, not, the fact that I'm shouting them out, maybe they are asking for a little love, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Sapphire and the Shooter Light, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, shout out to this baby. Man, it been a while since I've been able to work with Chrysal Praise, but shout out to the Chrysal Praise with the green sapphire. Shout out to the Obsidians. Shout out to the Obsidian fam, aka, shout out to the Mosavite Obsidian. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Libyan Glass Obsidian. You know what I'm saying? The Mu Onion Luster Iron Nickel Ore. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to nickel, cobalt, and iron are, and it's another little element, I want to say galenium or something like that, that has like, magnetism is like the known, known by most of us for magnetism, so any crystals with those elements in it will be very beneficial, again, because magnetism helps to clear up a lot of stagnant energies within our energy field. Because in essence, magnetism is like redirecting electricity to some extent. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the lodestone, the big lodestone. Oh, with the magnetic hematite. Shout out to the magnetics. As a matter of fact, it still probably be possible for tonight as well. But catching this full moon energy with the crystals, like letting your crystals get cleansed in this full moon energy that's popping right now. Like I did. What's funny, I was guided to do it both nights. I did last night and night before last, put my crystals out. And again, like expressing what intentions. With them being in the moon, I'm like, what, like, hey, I want you to amplify, I want you to help me work with this, that, and the third. I need a little help in this area, you know what I'm saying? And it's a full moon in Cancer, so a lot of, like that home energy, again, that mother energy, so, also dealing with our past. So, matter of fact, like right now, and that's another thing, like be aware that if we see certain past cycles come up, or past people, places, and things come up in our realm, to not get, like, don't get scared or overwhelmed. Don't feel like you're going, backwards, in that sense of it, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're seeing those energies pop up, it's just, again, like a little retrograde, energies coming up for us to kind of, because that's what I realized. Like, I could run forward full speed, but again, it's like, like the analogy of, having my anchor down. So, like, say for instance, like, not doing the introspective inner work, you know what I'm saying, and or in essence being afraid to do the introspective work due to it being connected to the past. It's like having an anchor down on my boat. And that energy of like, oh man, I'm that's the past, let me like run from it. Like, picture the anchor being down on the boat, and then I'm putting up more sails to try to allow for the wind to push me in the other direction, but I'm like straining the fuck out of the boat. You know what I'm saying? The boat is like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And of course, just like Credence in the little Harry Potter movie or whatever, he had that strength to work through holding on to his obscura, or that shadow aspect, you know what I'm saying? And we have the strength sometimes to push even though the anchor is down. But again, like, it would be better for us to like sit and trust, because I think out of most people, right now, and again, I honor the fact that, like from a spiritual perspective or a higher, because this is how I feel about like with Vedic astrology, like with Vedic or sidereal astrology, I feel like it does have some truth to it. It's like more so like a perspective of higher self. Like, I feel like when I'm, growing out of like a strong connection to my humanity, in essence, like I got more of a Sag energy, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, like, with the Capricorn energy, it's like, finding it real tough to like let go of the past and let go of trying to control every little thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, that energy is being tested, and especially, again, like with that masculine energy of like, you always want to push forward without retrospect, without introspect, because that's indirectly kind of, again, like, that's the lady thing to do, or that's the woman thing, or that's, just too, like sitting down and doing nothing of a type of energy, like I gotta go lift some shit and go, you know what I'm saying? like that energy, and shout out to the divine feminines, because that's who really doing, that's who, when I talk about some of the teachers who don't open their mouth and don't ask for credit, and you know what I'm saying, like, but that's, you know what I'm saying, not to make it sound like the mask again, it ain't no, oh, the feminine better than the mask. We look, we making it happen. You know what I'm saying? But for sure, that's the quiet teachers right now. That's the quiet, like, I ain't asking for no credit type of energies. You know what I'm saying? You think about the nature of a woman, where she'll let a man talk and think he know it all, and oh yeah, baby, you know what I'm saying? Still know mama behind the scenes, that feminine behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Cause again, like that's another thing where it's really about, like, it's understanding our emotions and feelings. Right now, like, I could be, again, intellect. Oh yeah, I read this many books. I'm logically, this and that. And again, it's not knocking logic. It's not knocking intellect. You know what I'm saying? Again, in a world where this side, the heavy side, has been masculine, and there's less weight on the feminine side. So, again, because I had to realize this too, like, yeah, you promoting the feminine, more strongly within, due to its suppression for all these years. But at the same time, it's still, again, like, should be a balance kept, you know. It shouldn't be extreme feminine to that extent, but we'll see ourselves, again, like, have more of a feminine vibe in certain moments, and again, metaphysically, this doesn't mean like, oh, I'm acting like a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's just from a metaphysical perspective, I'm again more tapped into the yang energy. Should I say yang? I think it's yang. I tried. Something came to me as I was saying it, and I kind of, but more to the feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? The feminine expression of things, because again, it's like the real intelligence. The real intelligence, like, I did an affirmation. I did some recording affirmations on my phone, and like, one of the affirmations was like, the real intelligence is being now. Like, intelligence is in the now moment. Like, how I'm able to be aware of what I'm feeling and going through in this now moment. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like the Krishnamurti book on relationships. You see, I balance. I read a little bit, but the Krishnamurti book on relationships, and again, the same thing in essence of what the power of now speaks to, and what I've, upon my own little inner gnosis and stuff like that, came to that conclusion, or that awareness that, like, again, like, now is the vibrate for real, like unless tomorrow, even the last 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless the last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes have some relevance to now's the vibrate, and don't hold yourself or others to what happened yesterday. Like, how are they presenting themselves right now, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, I don't have to forgive if I'm not even holding a grudge from the past. That only reason why there's even a energy of like, oh, I have to forgive, because it's some shit we holding on to. It's almost like forgive is almost like giving to, like, it has like an energy of like letting go in essence. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if I'm being constantly present, I could never even be in the state to even hold on to nothing on that level. It's like, oh man, well, I owe you, and that's why, I realized to do that if somebody has that type of energy with me, of like, oh man, well, I owe you this, oh man, you don't owe me nothing from yesterday or none of that shit, man. Look, now's the vibrate, bro. Look, you Gucci, man. Like, stay present, bro. Just do you, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't in no debt to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like the present moment is where the intelligence lives. Like that's where the intelligence is at. Is our emotional intelligence, because that's what, in essence, like again, like with our awareness, with our emotions, with manifestation is manifestation that. And yes, it's about what we focusing on and the affirmations, you know, uh, and having a certain plan or organizing things. But for sure, it's about our awareness, how aware and how intelligent we are of ourselves, moment to moment. Like moment to moment awareness. Like how aware am I of the fact that I'm low key probably trying to push down my anger right now. And I think about, that was something important for me to learn, that thinking about our emotions kind of like being like a ladder, you know what I'm saying? Like, or the emotional scale, like being like a ladder, you know? So like you got, on the ladder, you got anger, I'm not naming them in order, but you got anger, disgust, pessimism. Then you kind of go up to like content, and but it's like each little rung on the ladder. Now imagine, how can I maneuver or climb if I'm denying certain steps on the ladder? You know what I'm saying? So if I take away, like, oh, I'm not going to acknowledge anger, I'm not going to acknowledge sadness, I'm not going to acknowledge, then it's like, damn, then I can't even move up, my emotional ladder of the emotional scale properly. I can't move properly if I'm trying to, suppress a certain, rung or step on the ladder. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like thinking of it from that perspective, most definitely. But I don't know where that tangent all started at. But yeah, just with the going back to the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction coming up, because even with astrology, as I say that, like it's a balance with that. Like be aware of, these future transits and stuff like this, but not to the point where, again, like where I turn the transit, like, oh yeah, the Jupiter, where I turn like, you turn Jupiter energy, let's just say, into like a god like Zeus or Jesus. It's like, oh yeah, when Jupiter come through, then all my sins gonna be taken away. You know what I'm saying? When Jupiter come through, I'm shit. When that Jupiter conjunction, then that's when, like, no, like you liberate yourself right now. You know what I'm saying? Like having awareness that Jupiter is conjunct with Neptune helps. In the, like, again, like, cause with the navigation of the seas, the navigation of our quote unquote ship, you know what I'm saying, through the waters. Of course, you want to have awareness of the moon cycles, because the moon affects the waters, our emotions, you know what I'm saying, our subconscious affects, you know, subconscious, subconscious memory, emotions, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all, you know what I'm saying, connected. So we got to be aware of that as we navigate our ship, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But again, not too far in the future, word to universal frequency. Not too far in the future to the point where, again, it's taken away from your now moment. Because again, like, because even with me, expressing certain things, and now getting to a place like when I express like certain things like movies and things of this nature, letting it be from a place of, me enjoying to talk about it in the now moment, you know what I'm saying, but not like looking at it like, hey, this is so, important, in essence of, like, again, like if it doesn't, so just long story short, if it doesn't have importance to my now moment, it ain't really allowing for me to, understand myself better, or again, like, let it be something that I enjoy doing, because that's the other side to it. Like, now's the vibrate, and doing what you love in the now moment. So if I love to talk about movies, then cool, and talk about movies, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I love to express, it's like breaking down uh, movies, but again, not to the point where me breaking down movies create a certain energy that, you know, either shoots too far into the future or shoots too far into the past, or like when I'm talking about movies from that perspective of like, again, like they trying to do this, where it's too much, they energy, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of like disrupts the now moment, you know what I'm saying? So again, like, want to be very present about, you know, the approach to anything, right now. Because again, I could know all kind of shit about all kind of quote esoteric information, but if I'm not emotionally aware or if I'm still having horrible relationships with people, you know what I'm saying, then that ain't no, it ain't doing no nothing helpful for me, you know what I'm saying? That's where the joke started, again, like, oh, Jupiter conjunction coming, like, oh, I'm saved. I wanna be saved. Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Don't save. I wanna be saved. That little part inside. Shout out to Project Pat. But yeah. That's Matter of fact, shout out where y'all from, where everybody from, man. Shout out where you from, so everybody could be aware of where most of the, you know, some of our aware fam is at. That's something I was getting into too. But this could be for the awareness for yourself, again, like with, like say for instance, staying in a certain area or moving to a certain area. Again, of course, being tapped in intuitively, but along with the masculine energy, of like thinking about like the gematria, or basically like breaking down the number values of the letters, of certain cities and certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Like all right. Got New Jersey in the house. We got Atlantis in the house. You from Atlanta? Piccolo, Bermuda. Shout out to Bermuda. Michael Box, Boston. Eric R, California. Kelsey Vibration, Kentucky. Melanin Gold, Shy Time. That shy. Shout out to that aspect too. All these different these different places in connection with the ley lines and stuff like that too. They definitely again, they got that mound energy out here in Louisiana and in the South in general, you know what I'm saying? But I think about certain major cities, you know what I'm saying? And like how again, like they ain't major cities for nothing, you know what I'm saying? As I was just talking about the gematria of certain cities, and also again, like, you know, but that's the logical side of it, because I even called that like, all right, yeah, the gematria, like say for instance, like lining up like, the name of a certain state, you know what I'm saying, and seeing what the number value turns out to the city and the value, you know what I'm saying. But then also it's just like what your inner guidance guides you to, like, as far as kind of talking about like using it to, be aware of what's the best place for you to, to live at, you know what I'm saying. And again, you could be mobile, We could have a home base in one area, you know what I'm saying, and be able to move around, Because shout out to, I recently tuned into, it was Red Pill, one of Red Pill videos. As a matter of fact, with the Tucson, Arizona vibes. Because I'm definitely planning to, cat out of the bag. I'm planning to go out to Arizona for the gym show. As a matter of fact, I got some new pieces. Matter of fact, and then it's a mutual exchange of support. But all proceeds of mutual exchanges of support is going towards my little journey to Arizona. Because that's another thing I realized, it's a balance with, of course, like having awareness with sharing what type of moves you're making and stuff like that. And at the same time, it's like, no, you got to be confident in your will and know that ain't nobody sitting down on their couch hating gonna stop me from going where I meant to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it ain't no, like, there's a certain level, again, like, gotta be aware with that vibe of like, not wanting to say certain things about like what your plans are. Like, make sure it's coming from a place of like, you loving the fact of just like keeping it to yourself or whatever the case, and not it be from a fear of like, oh, I don't want to tell nobody because if they know, their mind alone could just squander all. Like, nah, fuck that, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no one person or, a couple of people gonna stop what's in alignment for your highest good, And if something, again, that you might have planned or something doesn't show up on that level, then it mean that it wasn't in the highest alignment, you know what I'm saying? But for sure, it's like not being, afraid. Again, Mr. Straight Panther Henderson, got Montana in the house. Yeah, matter of fact, because that's what also had me on, like, again, like the awareness with, like, because it's a crypto crystal convergence. This brethren, what's his name? Oh, I don't want to slaughter the brethren name. Ankara. A brethren named Ankara, who, matter of fact, he does, crystal raps and things of this nature, but he hosting like a little event, and it's bringing forth the crystals and the perspective with like the cryptocurrency and stuff like that. Because again, it's like being aware, like, that farther aspect, the masculine aspect, is, things are moving forward. There is, quote unquote, futuristic vibe that's coming into play, and again, and it's balanced in, it's balanced with the divine feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? Again, with working with the earth element, because even how we're able to, again, like tap in with the computers, the phone, the LCD, liquid crystal display, you know what I'm saying? So it's like tapping in with the crystals in connection with the technology, and shout out to, watching Ready Player One, and again, the creator, matter of fact, the creator of the game on Ready Player One, so the creator of the Oasis, that's the name of, the game on Ready Player One. One of the things he realized was like, although I created this game and a lot of people go into it to like get away, he was like, one of the things that I see where I messed up in life is where I should have. He was like, I should have been more present in my experience, instead of being so much into the quote unquote metaverse. Is like, he should have been, having that balance. Cause that's why at the end of the movie, it had like that vibe of like the brethren who end up winning the egg or whatever. He was like, the metaverse would be closed down on Tuesdays and Thursdays, on the Mars day and the Jupiter day. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. On the Mars day and the Jupiter's day, in order for people to get back in love with their life and get their shit together in the physical realm instead of like just running away into the quote unquote metaverse or into the oasis. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, Piccolo son, look, I'm I'm with the traveling, man. You got something set up, just let me know the little fun. Send me the details through email. When that moment is meant to align, it's gonna align. Cause yeah, let's see. Let me say train. Oh yeah, that's barefoot outside catching them downloads. I'll probably do another little vid running it on the movies. Yeah, that's about it with the crystals. Or should I say with the with the Jupiter, Neptune. And again, with this, that's another thing though to bring up too, like being aware though with the Jupiter, Neptune energy, to not be again like caught up in any illusions. To again like do our inner work to make sure we're you know uh not lying to ourselves about certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there is that awareness of like knowing that anything we want, anything we love, and anything that's in our highest alignment can manifest. But I think about like, but which again like being aware where it's coming from, if it's coming from our ego or it's coming from what we're being guided to do intuitively. You know, because I think about, and I talked about that in the older video about uh trying to force myself to get this certain job, like, oh yeah, it's gonna go through and this and that. But I was in the energy of the ego that was just on some security, fearful. Let me try to force myself to get a job quickly type of energy, and it didn't manifest. You know what I'm saying? Because the universe was like, bro, nah, it was fear. That job wasn't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just multiple layers for it. Compared to again like in the past where when I got fired from my job in Baton Rouge, I had that option to like do things from again I had read a couple of little manifestation books and was aware of how the mind work and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, let me choose. Let me see if this law of attraction stuff is real. Not necessarily from like the secret, you know what I'm saying? That book, not knocking it, but it's deeper than that. But like really having that choice of like, all right, I'm either work here or there, you know what I'm saying? And both places was asking me to work there, like it literally was like my mind manifested. You know what I'm saying? So just being aware to not be fearful in any way, form, or fashion. Don't blame anybody outside of you for your own alignment. If there's fearful people who may pop up in your realm, you don't have to take on those fears. And for the most part, you meant to stay in alignment with, whatever energies they, got going on that's not you. Because one thing I like, have to be steady on is like being aware, like you are going to pick up on it. If you're an empath, if you're sensitive to energies, you'll pick up on other people's energies as if it's yours. But it's just a simple fact of like, hey, I know I wouldn't fear this type of stuff, or I know I wouldn't want to do that, or I know I wouldn't want to eat this, or I know I wouldn't, want to do whatever, this, that, or the third. So I know this is not my energy, so don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Or don't, give into it, and hold that space. But, for the most part, though, again, though, not like, oh, this unwoke person or this person who don't get it is affecting my energy. No, they're not. And if you talk like that, then yeah, then that energy will be able to stop you from, going here or doing that, or whatever the case may be. If you coming off with that energy. Shout out to the sun right now, man. But if you're again like giving off that energy to that level, then again the universe like, all right, your wish is my command. Those people will stop you. That will, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't the moment. It ain't the now is not the moment to be on that type of energy for sure. Oh, the dope, a fire little lucid dreaming technique. It's something new that I've been doing, and it helps. So I got like something to apply for dealing with your lucid dreams, or to amplify your ability to lucid dream. You know, it's somewhat like any other technique of like, saying, like being aware, like write out an intention. Let's just say that if I touch my nose, then that I should be, should become aware that I'm in a dream, and that I could be consciously aware in a dream. It's something like that. But again, for me recently, so like I got like certain affirmations, like little affirmational songs that I've created, and I have like a little instrumental playing in the background, and like sometimes I just say the affirmation straight up, or I kind of like rap it or sing along to it. But either way it go, like I'll go to sleep like listening to those affirmations, and like and this is the thing too, being aware of the fact that in your waking state, like that these are affirmations that you created. So like, say for instance, I'll be in my dream, and like people saying like the affirmations, are like, saying exactly the things from my affirmations, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm in my dream and people just repeat my affirmations. So it kind of like, oh shit, let me move around, let me do this, let me do that. Like it creates a ability to be more lucid in your dream, because it's like, again, like one of those markers, like again, like Inception, again, where you had this little top, and if he spin it a certain way and it did something, he knew, all right, I'm in a dream. If not, I'm back in what we call the real world, but let's just say back in this in this physical perspective. Because again, like the spiritual realm, is, again, like, cause that's kind of like what Ready Player One was showing. Like, again, you had to look at it from a corresponding and metaphorical perspective. But like, say for instance, when they were tapping into the oasis, like going into the quote unquote metaverse, in essence that was a personification of like going into Earth, in essence, and when he was back home in Ohio, which like on Earth in the movie, that was more so representative of the spirit realm. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you had this company in the spirit realm. You know what I'm saying? Or this like this corporation in essence that, again, like put all the minds together, like to basically to gain ownership of the oasis or of Earth. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of spirits, trying to work together. The company, I forgot what the company was called. Matter of fact, I'm speaking to that IO energy again, but I think it was called. And basically, basically again, like that, them being on Earth in the movie was like being in the spirit realm. Because again, like I think about the energy of like when he made it to the end and he was about to put the key into the egg, or to, he just won the prize, just won the egg, but he couldn't get the key. Like he kept like stumbling and stuff, because in the spirit realm, in essence, or on Earth, is again on Earth from that perspective, he was in a van, and they were driving a van and they were swerving in the van. You know what I'm saying? And so he couldn't like operate his avatar. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't operate his avatar like, you know, smoothly, because of what was going on in the spirit realm. You know what I'm saying? In essence, he had, some things going on in the spirit realm that was making it tough for him to, what I'm saying, put the key in. You know what I'm saying? So they had that little analogy in there that was pretty dope as well. Say Wes Combs asks, what's a good manifestation book? Honestly, I didn't read all of it, but I gained a lot of clarity from it. Just speaking particular to manifestation, other than like a book like Cyclomancy or something like that. Cyclomancy with, again, like working on psychic abilities. I would say Asking It Is Given by Abraham, or by Esther Hicks. Asking It Is Given. Control use technique I learned as a kid was from Ghostbusters the cartoon. Well, shout out to you bringing up that, boy. Ghostbusters the cartoon was a classic. Now, that was a classic. Yep, and the Sandman, little energy. Damn, that's something. That was a classic. Forgotten classic. I'm pretty sure they had some sauce up in Ghostbusters. Matter of fact, another show that I watched recently that was pretty good, it had some nice little jewels in it, was Titans, based on like the Teen Titans. Well, most of it early in the game was focused on the Titan. Her name was Raven. But and I'll probably do a little separate. We get into little breakdowns, because also that's why I didn't name this video a podcast, because I'm getting ready to shift to podcast platforms, and I already got it set up. So on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, on Anchor, on Spotify, and what's the other one? Uh, but if you go to my Instagram, I did a little post where I showed how you could get to it. Uh, but it's Epic Esoteric Lounge, EPIK Esoteric Lounge on all those platforms I just named, and that'll, again, as a matter of fact, right now, like thinking of the retrograde energy and it's Capricorn energy, it's like making plans, you know what I'm saying? Like planning things out right now. It's very key, not necessarily, because again, even with like, breaking out of that energy, you know, in this vibe, collectively with, the Instagram and the TikToks and, or even YouTube in essence, but like where you could kind of get into a mode where you feel like I gotta be posting something all the time to seem relevant to others, in order to make it seem or feel like I'm actually doing something. I gotta be, and it's like nah, cause some of us may be authors and be writing books, you know what I'm saying? Some of us, again, like do little crafts and things of this nature, you know what I'm saying? But whatever the case may be, don't let, again, like the social media vibe or whatever. Now, again, I see where it is correlated. The spirit realm is connected with the technology realm as well, you know what I'm saying? I brought this up somewhat on surface level without getting too deep. And shout out to So It Is Written channel. Shout out to Mook, for bringing this up too with about timelines and in connection with technology. But like say for instance, seeing like synchronized numbers. Like you see 333 somewhere or 444. You also see some of these numbers again, like on your phone, on the oven, or on your computer, you know what I'm saying? But again, these numbers showing up even through technology, you know what I'm saying? So that, goes to show, that spirit, is moving, or should I say source energy is moving through, these technologies as well, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Definitely gonna have to check out that Ghostbusters. And that's another thing for me, like with watching, cartoons or just shows in general lately. Like been having to like find like a little healthy vibe of, balancing myself out with my human energy, with my humanity, and also like balancing out the pendulum swing, of like going extreme, like, cause it was like again like that energy of like trying to extremely pull away from your human perspective. Well, again, that pendulum gonna swing back. It has to, by law. You know, so again, it's like finding that balance on a level where it's like kind of like again like close together instead of like going from one extreme to another extreme. But yeah, and I do talk about the Matrix and all that in another little video. Matter of fact, I don't even want to go into it just right now because I already know that's going to be a little video within itself, because I'm going to break it down in connection to all the movies, because again, like how I even caught that vibe with Io and Jupiter, and again the movie Jupiter Ascending and Jupiter Ascending in the Matrix, both created by the Wachowski brothers or sisters, whatever you want to call them, you know what I'm saying? So again, like it's just all correlated down the line. basically it. Tap in. Again, everybody, remember to hit the like button, share, like, press the notification button, you know what I'm saying, again, so the videos could be, seen and not get washed under the algorithms, because that's something too, I realize, and that's just an energy for ourselves, like staying persistent and resilient in expressing, this information and stuff like that, because it'll be so many little antagonizing energies, just like, again, inner work, out as above, so below, as within, so without. As I'm doing my inner work and I'm starting to like eat healthy and stuff like that, that's when certain energies try to come up, like, oh no, eat a honey bun, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like, same thing with, expressing things again, like full circle. Expressing things on the, through technology on the internet, But again, like, subscribe, share if you feel like any of the different videos, you want to share with somebody on a platform, share. Any and all donations greatly appreciated. The donation links is underneath all of the videos. And if you don't want to, just donate, you could also have a mutual exchange of support through checking out the crystal jewelry that I have on my Instagram at Epic Lifestyles, EPIKLIFESTYLEZ, and soon to be www.epiclifestyles.live, Again, we continuously working and keeping things moving. Again, and remember too, again, like the full moon energy with the crystals, putting the crystals out in the full moon. Tap in with that full moon energy for sure, for sure. And again, like with the with the whole little metaverse thing, and like metaverse or cryptocurrencies, NFTs, all this, this is also, again, like, I'm realizing a way for, again, like, it's everything that a lot of us been asking for, again, it's just from a perspective that's, in essence, what we're not used to from our human perspective. Because I realize a lot of, what fear may come from, like, not wanting to deal with cryptocurrency and stuff like that. It's kind of just a fear of, like, a certain level of expansion, because, again, you're not going to get, no more lost in this realm, as if, because, again, I could get, if I have a certain mission to do or a certain thing that I'm aligned to do, but I'm just only, sitting around, because, again, yes, we could tap in with the trees and everything, but everything, again, with a balance and moderation, It's like, again, everything has its positive or negative to it, but I was going to say, like, with the NFTs, like, creating, a decentralized form of, like, sharing currency on top of the aspect of bartering and stuff like that, so not only being able to say, hey, I give you, matter of fact, and even doing it like that, possibly, like, hey, I give you 3 sapphires for, that NFT, you know what I'm saying, or I give you, I do copper work, you know what I'm saying, I could, create a Tesla coil, to create electricity, to pull electricity, quote unquote, out of thin air, but you know what I'm saying, but like to pull electricity out of the air without plugging into the wall. I create those type of coils. If you teach my kid about how to meditate with crystals, I'll give you one of them cards, you know what I'm saying? But like, again, it's like, all these different forms that's gonna break down using, the former aspect of, currency or paper money, you know what I'm saying? Because again, uh, having to realize that as I'm seeing certain people, like, again, like tap in with, the NFT stuff like that. It's like, oh wait, you could become, because that's another thing too. Because some of this currency you still being able to use, in the sense of like, here it is where I could create, a little cartoon character on the computer and sell it for like 5 G's, and then I could use them 5 G's to get me some real physical crystal. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like, oh, I'm getting lost in the metaverse because I'm participating in NFT. Like, no, you could use this to be a grounding agent for what you got going on, in the physical, from this perspective, you know what I'm saying? From this avatar, not the avatar within the avatar, you know what I'm saying? But from this avatar, which is still technically, again, is a reflection of, being fractal inside a fractal inside a fractal. So, again, this is just as much an avatar as the one in the quote unquote metaverse. But yeah, again, it's not getting lost in the sauce with that. But again, like, you can make, allow for abundance to come in to, create that garden that you want to create, to create that sustainable water system you want to create, to, uh, you know, not necessarily, because again, when we say buying property, in essence, we ain't owning none of the shit, but, to be a quote unquote custodian of a certain property or whatever, like you could, again, like, gain a certain little area to, allow for it to be an area where people could meditate and connect with the trees, and they could do all this in peace, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's like, the father and mother cooperating with each other, you know what I'm saying? Our past perspectives and things of this nature, connecting with, the future ideas and perspectives, are, all simultaneously right now. Right now is the time machine that brings it all together. Dig? Straight Panther, yeah, bro. Like, I'm starting look, and at this point, I also see, like, again, it's like some wild, wild west shit, uh, where, you gotta be aware of how to maneuver certain uh, little things that you gotta be aware of. But again, it's more opportunity than lack of opportunity. I could say that much. Again, like, you could create a little cartoon character. I could create an NFT of my glasses with the little crystal on it. You know what I'm saying? And that shit sell for I don't know how much. You know what I'm saying? And invested in a building for people to work with crystals, or invested in a mining company where I mine my own crystals. You know what I'm saying? And again, with this Jupiter Neptune conjunction, you know what I'm saying, coming in April 7th to April 17th, that in between those dates is when they're going to be, in real close proximity to each other, you know, tap in with that energy, you know what I'm saying? Most definitely. You know, shout out to brother Rich, and that brethren he had on there, the Bitcoin bully, for bringing up some of the perspectives with the Bitcoin. Matter of fact, or just the cryptocurrency in general, not just the Bitcoin, but like tapping in with the cryptocurrency. again, because even realizing again with like raising, with dealing with ourselves, and if you like somebody who have children and stuff like this, again, it's like, not creating that same shadow perspective that was created in us, where it's like, oh, this is right, this is wrong, paper money right, metaverse money wrong, metaverse money right, and old forms of currency wrong. Like, no, it's like, because even in the standing, like, and this me though, this is a balanced perspective. Like, of course we don't like rock with CDs and DVDs and stuff like that, but it still, on some level, still have a value to some perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some people who actually collect antiques and make a thing out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people want the nostalgia of a what you call that, a VHS tape, or or a CD player, or things of this nature. You know what I'm saying? Or old school radio. You know what I'm saying? Or a record player. Like, people still use record players to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, record players are still being used. You know what I'm saying? Again, so it's just finding, it's a balance. And you find that balance however it works for you and your uniqueness, as your unique expression and source on the human experience. But again, it's not from a perspective of just solely like listening to me or solely listening to somebody. It's like, what your inner guidance is guiding you to, to connect with, and how it's guiding you to connect with it. You know what I'm saying? But most definitely. But yeah, that's basically it. And tapping in with the crystals. Got that moss agate. Yeah, that's basically it. Anybody has any crystal questions before I go? Much love and appreciation to y'all, man, and shout out to you and yours in the little area of this realm that you are residing in. You know what I'm saying? Shaman Reese. And Mr. West, you talking about you catch Free Guy. What is Free Guy? I didn't know what you was talking about. Oh yeah, straight Panther, look. Look, most definitely, man. Greatly appreciate you, my brother. Oh, I had an Agnemanitite too not too long ago. Well, from my inner download, if you haven't watched my video, you know what I'm saying, on how, all these quote unquote meteorites are really just obsidian, because even that's been coming up even more. Matter of fact, because I think I did a little snippet. I don't know if I posted it, but I was watching. Matter of fact, yeah, I just got to do a movie by itself video. That'll be coming soon. But, like the Eternals. And on the Eternals, when it was showing, like, spoiler alert, a volcano erupting, and then the lava from the volcano was coming down. Like, if you wasn't close to the volcano and saw the volcano erupting, you would have been somebody who said, "Oh, there's stuff coming from there's rocks coming from space, you know what I'm saying? But again, like the shout out to the Micronauts comic book, you know what I'm saying? They came from inner space, you know, aliens from inner space, and I didn't say aliens, but you know, beings from inner space, you know what I'm saying? This is from inner space, you know. But yeah, the Agni Manatite comes from the Indonesia area, and my energy from working with it, it just felt like a fire little like it was more grounding than most of the other obsidians. It's more grounded than the other obsidians that had like more of a I don't know, like kind of like a subtle, like a grounding energy to it. I could feel it like, you know, working more strongly in the lower chakras. I could feel like a certain sense of mental clarity. I could feel like a sense of, you know, like and let me see, because that's another thing, because as I'm expressing what I feel, you know, like that's another thing, you know, you could feel, you know, if you got a piece of the crystal, you'll feel, you know, these energies for yourself or whatever. But yeah, with the Agni Manatite, it comes from the Indonesia area, and it's mined close to water or whatever. So it comes from, cause that's another thing too. You could kind of feel that vibe. It kind of had like a watery vibe to it, you know, almost like fire with water. So like a steam energy to it, you know. Like and what I could say about that is like, again, like an energy that had like a connection with the emotions, you know, just as much as it was working with the high chakras, again, like working in that solar plexus, sacral, you know, more so sacral, solar plexus, a little bit of root, you know. But I definitely felt like more of a grounding energy, you know, than most of the other obsidians I work with. Cause yeah, I recently had one for sale on the only one I had, but I was like, I'll get another one. But yeah, I got my Moldavite, my Libyan desert glass. But again, I realized that all these places that quote unquote meteorites was in, they wasn't too far from whether the volcanoes was recently active or not recently active, but still volcanic areas nonetheless. Because if it was that much of just a meteorite, then they would be in places where there aren't any close volcanoes to. But each and every one of them, you know what I'm saying? Like the Libyan one, and check out the video if you want to, like, because I had like the little paperwork to like kind of give a little evidence of like, hey, you know, look and see, you know, this area is not too far from this area, you know what I'm saying? I had the little names and all that stuff I'm not able to remember, because that's another thing too. It's for the now moment for me to express in that video, but I'm not holding on to that, because again, with some of this stuff, again, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to prove, you know, like I can't prove anything to anybody. You know, all I could do is share, and a person just got to be open to, you know, that insight. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, I get why, you know, like with expressing certain things, you know, because we are helping certain people to break out of a spell, you know, certain spells. You know what I'm saying? So it does help, you know, because just like with ourselves, we're breaking out of certain spells, you know, to have a book or certain information, you know, that we could physically, you know, put our hands on from that perspective to like help solidify our intuitive hunches, you know what I'm saying, you know, for the most part. But again, like, because I'm also here to prove, again, like, you know, like you're able to channel without having to have, you know, a book, you know, without having to prove it with a book. You know, Edgar Cayce wasn't like, oh, I channeled this information and here's the book to prove it. Here's the book to prove it. Here's the book to prove this download, and the book to, like, no, he's just like, boop, boop, boop. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers Excuse my diction, but you know what I'm saying. And again, ain't nothing against nobody. You know what I'm saying. It's just the understanding. Just the understanding that, you know what I'm saying. Like, brethren got got a whole little monument. The sleeping psychic, the sleeping whatever, they call them. And again, like, it ain't no. It's certain parts of my past ego that want to come up and make it a little thing of, but it's like, no, look, shout out to them. Cause you could do that too. I could do that too, you know. Ooh, the moss agate. Well, moss agate. So technically, you know what I'm saying. Moss is really Moss chalcedony. You know what I'm saying. It's not necessarily an agate, because matter of fact, speaking of that, Pooh got the perfect example of an agate right here. Even though the camera not be able to pick up with the sunlight, it's not picking up on the subtleties. But like the blue lace agate, so agates actually have like lines, like little layers. They grow, and another little layer grow, and then another little layer grow. Like basically it grows over time, or quote unquote, over a period of moments, however you want to say it without saying time. But and that's why agates are great for, like, being patient and growing, without trying to like force things to happen, things of this nature, but what I was gonna say, yep, with the moss agate, it's really like a chalcedony. So there's like a misnomer right there, you know what I'm saying? It's not really an agate. And even with the green in it, the green may be like little the manganese. Matter of fact, and you hear that one making that noise, that's because it's vibrating like some singing quartz. And that's my first time getting singing quartz in the form of moss agate. But and that's all it is too, is microcrystalline quartz. So basically how you got this big smoky quartz, basically to make this moss agate. Yeah, it's jumping, boy. I can't even use this one. It's gonna jump out of my hand again. Like within the moss chalcedony, but moss agate for lack of a better word, is nothing but small microcrystalline little points like this up in chalcedonies and agates. And matter of fact, so in essence, you could think about like agates and chalcedonies are, well, not necessarily jaspers, even though jaspers, is kind of closely related. Jasper is like a chalcedony with more solid inclusions in it, but anyway, it's basically like a bunch of small points like this. So let's just say, this is just one, again, one macro crystalline. So one macro crystal, let's say, like on a bigger scale. And in this one, let's just say like a million of these points up in this piece. So imagine like having a million little quartz points, in one little area, you know what I'm saying? And that's the energy that it, has, or gives off in essence. And again, one of the main things I like working with moss agate, whenever I feel like I'm in a rut, so like as a prescription, I would prescribe moss agate for whenever you feel like you're like stuck in a vibe of like not having no new ideas, whenever you need to like implement some patience, whenever connection to ancestors is there too with working with moss agate. But what I find it, again, like what I always would go to moss agate for was just to like just just calm my mind. That's another thing. If you're too much in your mind, like if there's a lot of mind noise you're dealing with, like sit down with some moss agate and let moss agate just tell you to just sit your ass down in a beautiful manner. You know what I'm saying? Like just sit down. Like find you a seat. You know, and it doesn't mean, again, because spirituality is not just about sitting in meditation or not taking action. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we still gonna be active and taking actions and doing things. You know what I'm saying? But again, it just really has that energy of like, like bro, just like just chill. Like let the insight come to you type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to forcefully like dig under everything, and again, like working from a place of fear, and again, like it implements that tree like energy, somewhat like a petrified wood. And also, if you're looking to connect with the Devic Kingdom, aka the elementals, you know what I'm saying, it'll help to connect with the elementals. Just being aware, again, like with any type of spirit you're connecting with, make sure you affirm that you're dealing with 100% truthful beings with 100% clarity. You want to make sure that you specify, like, hey, no confusion, no ambiguity, you know what I'm saying, with whatever beings I'm connecting with, you know what I'm saying. So always having that awareness, when you're channeling or working with any type of spiritual energy or spirit energy, you know what I'm saying? Again, especially like even in nature, you know what I'm saying? Because, the each energy has a positive and negative, you know what I'm saying? So the trickster energy is not all negative, it's not all positive, but there are little trickster energies in the nature beings as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's something to be aware of, or like some fairy energies. Some fairy energies just kind of want to always have fun, you know. Like matter of fact, you could tell the fairy energies is the girls who kind of just they like to do the hula hooping, or like like to just mostly be free. Like, hey, let's just chill. Let's not, what I'm saying, let's not do that task, or what I'm saying. So you gotta have some awareness, when connecting with this energy. They also may be like the drinkers, the fairy energies don't mind drinking a little drinking the spirits, you know what I'm saying. No good or bad, because I know I kind of gave that drinking the spirits, but like, because again, everything has its moment and place, you know what I'm saying, in moderation, most definitely. And again, especially with awareness and setting intentions and being aware of, how you stepping into it and connecting with it, But yeah, moss agate definitely, again, like anybody looking to create like tinctures and stuff like that. If you're a person that want to create tinctures or little, herbal remedies and stuff like that, connect with the moss agate, and also again, like I did a video a while back connecting with, it was moss agate, bloodstone, ocean jasper, and I may have brought up shungite as well. But I remember, like, again, my first time wanting to, for one, the last cold I ever had, you know what I'm saying, and me working through it through just using crystals and just like natural ways of healing. Cause I swear, cause I my first time, so being a creatures of habit in this realm, you know what I'm saying, and going back to our familiar loops if we're not creating a new one, wanting to go back to that Theraflu. I'm like, man, that Theraflu gonna knock it out right quick. Just like, like work with crystals from here on out, but just buy that Theraflu. I'm like, no. I'm like, if I'm gonna walk it like I talk it. If I'm believing in this and trusting in this information, and I've been led to this insight and stuff like that, then I'm gonna heal this shit with with moss agate, and again, like I took a bath with the moss agate, ocean jasper, and bloodstone, and that's another thing too. Technically, moss agate and bloodstone is kind of somewhat basically the same in essence, you know. Just moss agate is just the pieces that has more of the clear microcrystalline quartz in it, you know. So they could market it with that name of like, you know, oh, this is moss agate, you know. Because even looking at this one, if this one was a little more, you know, where it was just all the green part, you know, uh, it would be like bloodstone. But again, that helps with the immune system and helps with the purification of the blood. Because again, most, you know, as much as, you know, again, like we talk about detoxification and drinking water and doing all these things, it's also about like purifying the blood. Hence why dandelion root and burdock root is so strong at detoxifying, you know, ourselves, especially again like with addictions and things of this nature. That stuff moves through the blood strongly, you know. And and but you know, like it moves through the blood strongly. So that's why again dandelion root, and again, you know, our the liver, the liver, the name speaks for itself, is deals with detoxification of the body, and it's one of the quote unquote, for lack of a better word, it's one of the bloodiest organs. One of the bloodiest organs in the body, you know. But it's very very bloody. It's got a lot of blood in it, you know what I'm saying, and that also in essence makes it like a electrical agent, in the sense of, you know, our blood has iron in it, so it has a lot of iron. So, or should I say not electrical, but more so like a grounding agent. Like, you know, it's like a, you know, like a farm, little sturdy iron energy. Like, you know, if you know the body was a crystal, if each organ could be a crystal, you know the liver would be like a piece of hematite, you know what I'm saying, in essence, or like a red jasper, you know what I'm saying. But it would be like, again, like where all of the blood is concentrated in essence. But again, moss agate, man, boy, this moss agate, I'm telling you, moss agate jumping. But yeah, again, good for detoxification of the blood. So also, you know, moss agate would be great for again, for detoxifying the body, you know. Also, it would be a good remedy. Again, I kind of said this somewhat, and I did a video about it recently, you know, like the rebirthing energy, you know what I'm saying. If you like, again, like kind of going through that, you know, or been stagnant, kind of been stuck in the caterpillar stage, you know what I'm saying, like the moss agate kind of helps to promote some type of, you know, that butterfly energy, you know, promoting some new perspectives, new ways of looking at things, you know. And I think that's about, you know. And it would be, let's see, I can't call it right now, so I'm not gonna try to, because I know again, like I've been researching the crystals that have like the OH compared to the H, so the oxidized hydrogen compared to just the hydrogen by itself, and again, like the whole acid and alkaline vibe dealing with the crystals, because that's something to be aware of too. Because now I realize, again, because even with, bring that up again. Oh, and again, different body parts, you know what I'm saying, or different, you know, parts of the body, like different, you know, things in essence, like the stomach, you know, has a more acidic nature. The small intestines deals with a more alkalinity, you know. So it's no coincidence the small intestines, you know, again, one of the important places of detoxifying the body as well. Like, because again, other than, you know, the dandelion root, you know what I'm saying, burdock root, for like cleansing the liver. Also, what we bring up is like cleansing the colon, you know what I'm saying? Cleansing the intestines. And the small intestines is connected to the Virgo energy, and the Virgo energy deals with, a lot of detoxing and what helps the body to like detox, in essence. It's again like the alkaline energy, you know what I'm saying? The alkaline energy is more so a feminine energy, and Virgo is like more of a feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? So you see those connections. And then the blood likes to maintain a neutral state of being. So the blood don't like to be acidic or over alkaline. Hence why we have a balance of, acidity to alkalinity in the body, you know what I'm saying? Because again, unless you, becoming a breatharian or something of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And even still, the blood is still gonna, in some way, form, or fashion, require like a balance, vibration, you know what I'm saying? No matter how, because I just thought about it, even with being a breatharian, you're still gonna maintain that equilibrium, because in essence you're kind of allowing your body to tap into the ethers and tap into nature. And for the most part, you could also, like, in essence, once you done got to a breatharian state of being, you also in a state where you could like heal the body through almost like manually, in essence. And cyclomancy kind of talk about that, but like where you could just visualize or give a command to the blood to maintain its balance, you know what I'm saying? And so it is, you know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, it's like that for us already, you know what I'm saying? That ability is there, you know. But again, growth is something that is done, gradually, you know. Some of us have the ability to extremely cold turkey or extremely make, like extreme changes in essence. But, for the most part, you know, most of us are still, consuming foods in some way, form, or fashion, no matter how we have moderated, the way we do it, you know. But again, the blood, and it makes sense that the blood has a neutral or equilibrium type of energy, because again, like, that's the iron energy, and that's connected with Mars, and we don't want to have Mars trying to play the one side or the other game. We want to keep Mars neutral, in the body, you know what I'm saying? Again, like all the personification of energy is just personifications of energies, you know what I'm saying, being aligned, you know. And I mean, of course, it's like, hey, the blood needs this or that, you know what I'm saying? But it's also, again, an energetic expression. It's a story. It's, again, a quote by me, you know what I'm saying, that anatomy is mythology by law. Mythology is anatomy by law, by law of correspondence. If it's a mythological story, then it's also an anatomy story. If it's an anatomy story, it's also a mythological story. Again, for whatever little story they got about something, is also pertaining to whatever is going on in our bodysuit, or going on in the earthly plane and with the crystals, or or the crust of the earth. The crust of the earth is like the skin, and as above so below is kind of the same as our skin, and the hair could be looked at like trees, and we call the dreadlocks antennas, or our hair. And it's not to say that a person with hair that get a haircut is disconnected, because I know brethren with haircuts that's just as tapped in as anybody with some dreadlocks. So that is, that's not like no. Again, you start to see the balance, and like with a lot of stuff, it's just more so again, how a person, is aligned to carry themselves, how they would like to carry themselves, what they feel aligned to do in this lifetime, But again, the trees, it's like the hairs that grow on the body, and as above, so below, in certain parts of the body, hairs are very, very small. But then on other parts of the body, the hair could grow like redwood. Like redwood trees would grow, in essence, for that analogy, Or like how some people say, with the Devil's Peak. I forgot where that's at, but that little big thing that looked like a stump, which just said that it could be a volcano or magma. You know what I'm saying? Either way it go though, not I ain't even gonna tie it to that Devil's Peak shit, but just in general, I know like all right, and that's one download I caught. Like just being in California, I caught that download. I'm like, bro, they dynamited and blew up a lot of the fucking mountains around here. Like it's like the reverse vibe of like being in Louisiana. Like in Louisiana, it's like oh they built like they basically just started dumping dirt on top of the swamp. You know what I'm saying, to make New Orleans. Like this is all mostly in essence water. You know what I'm saying? Like they just kind of like dumped a lot of dirt in this area to like kind of create something, and vice versa. And like LA, like being downtown LA, and it's like walking up the block, walking up First Street, and then it's like some streets is down there like a fucking hike, and it's like and I'm pretty sure that's how it seemed like in San Francisco too, you know. It's like yeah, this shit, it was built all on top of like, and they had to blow up a lot of mountains and a lot of trees and wilderness, because that's another thing. I kind of like close my eyes and picture like how you know in some essence you could say how it is, because it's still energetically there in some way, form, or fashion, just by being able to tap into it in the now moment. But for the most part, for our physical eyes, it's not being seen, but like being able to like internally feel and see like how it was before all of that shit, you know. But but yeah, and I'm pretty sure I got everything I need to say on the moss agates. Newmite, and matter of fact, in Greenland Newmite, not just any Newmite, but Newmite from Greenland. You know what I'm saying? That's the real Newmite, not Copperlite or Coppernight, which I made a joke about ordering some of that not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about that. Again, Greenland Newmite. And Merlinite, and Merlinite in the form of indigo grabo, or it could be the Merlinite that's also basically dendritic opal, because dendritic opal is what they also call Merlinite or blizzard stone. You know what I'm saying? But either that Merlinite or again indigo grabo. What else is a great one? And it depends on what type of energy you want to awaken or tap in. Like, when I think of the word shaman, I just think of the energy of like being able to tap into multi dimensions of ourselves, or like in essence to be able to do shadow work. Like I kind of see shaman energy as like an energy of like being able to tap into the different dimensions of self, or again like to dive into the depths of our, inner being, and still, be grounded and still be there, because I again like think about my many psychedelic journeys, and like the shaman energy of like having to like get your humanity stripped away. And I had to learn that through experience, because I didn't really have no, like again, and I did it on purpose like that, to show that, to be the first of my kind in essence. Not say the first, like on that type of level, but like, or at least in the Louisiana area, or just a being who, again, like show that, hey, you're being guided by spirit regardless, so even if you don't get confirmations with books, your spirit is going to be guiding you in alignment for your highest good, but again, like diving into these depths, and I wasn't realizing though, because I did get to a point where I was like, I dove in, but I was ungrounded, like I not fully ungrounded, but you know, because again, I was still in one of my deepest DMT trips. I was working a job or whatever, so it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm just completely, you know, like no. Matter of fact, shit, one of them, I may have told that story before in one of my videos where I was like, actually like coming back in, like basically after the trip, like had to go to work the next morning and it was still kind of like, you know, popping off to the point, because again, when you take psychedelics, you know, it amplifies your ability to, let's just say, to see how much you're creating your reality, you know. And so much so to where I'm like, oh shit, you know, I gotta go to work. And I kind of put out that energy of like, man, not having a bunch of people come in the store, and to the point where and I had to tell my coworkers, and with shout out to being in an area where the people was aware of psychedelics and that whole type of energy. You know, I'm like, hey, yo, I'm coming down off a trip, straight up. Cause I'm one of them people who I ain't gonna try to play extremely, try to hide this from y'all. Like, hey, look, coming down, grounding myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. You know, shout out to that horn. You know what I'm saying? But like literally, and they joked about that. They was like, damn, this is the slowest, you know, a morning ever been on a weekend ever. You know what I'm saying? But it was because, you know, my energy. You know what I'm saying? And hint, hint, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? With what I'm saying too, you know, again, psychedelics and being aware of how much we create in our reality. You know, like literally, it was barely anybody that came into the store because I was like, bro, like nobody, man. I ain't, you know, I ain't trying to, you know. So again, it happened that way. But again, back with the crystals for the shaman vibe. Pneumite is just that first one that come up. Like something else wanted to. Oh, but again, it's more so of like, you know, diving into, you know, again, like doing shadow work. Because in essence, that's what, you know, because even with a psychedelic journey, it's like you're tapping into, you know, the multi dimensions of self. And in essence, you're like going to, you know, save those neglected parts of ourselves, you know, like to unfragmentize those fragmented parts of ourselves. So again, though, and what we mean by fragment, those parts that we kind of, again, in essence, you know, like say a fragment, like a piece that got pushed, like we like tried to take it away from the whole, like so it's fragmented. It's not connected with the whole of our being because we fragmented it out. We like try to cut it out and say, hey, this lifetime, you know, or this, you know, this incarnation as whatever, or you know, or this experience as a child, or you know what I'm saying, like you're not a part of me, or you know what I'm saying, and going into those realms, you know, while still being able to be grounded and come out, you know, in a grounded perspective. Because again, like definitely in some of the deep psychedelic journeys, you know, you get your humanity stripped so strongly where it's like, again, that's why most people come out of those modes, you know, in like a strong vibe of like, oh man, this shit is all fake, and you know what I'm saying? Because you really get to see, you know what I'm saying? You get to see, you know, on a strong level, you know, of, you know, the subtleties within this realm, you know what I'm saying? Things that seem subtle to the two eyes, you know, or seem subtle to us when we wasn't strong in our energy. But, yeah, that's the only, you know, that's the only one that's really coming up. Again, like the new might, you know, if I didn't say it, black obsidian, you know what I'm saying? In essence, moldavite kind of helps to, you know, allow for, you know, those different dimensions to be tapped into, but it doesn't ground, you know what I'm saying? So you want to bring in something to ground your energy. So again, it also depends on like what perspective of, like, you know, when we say doing shaman work, you know, like what you're doing it for, what type of energy, you know, But again, like just all right, you just say to activate those dormant energies. Again, like a Numite, Black Obsidian, Indigo Gabbro, aka Mystic Merlinite. You know, because also again, like anything that amplifies the like awareness of our subconscious or our emotions. Because again, back to what I said earlier in this video about an hour ago. uh, like being able to navigate our waters, navigate our ship through the waters. Shout out to One Piece, the anime One Piece or whatever, because it's a personification of that in essence. But again, like learning how to navigate through our subconscious and through our emotions, through our memories. Through our primordial mother energy in essence. And again, that primordial mother energy could get real unhuman like and real, chaotic, so to speak. you know. But yeah, those crystals I named because that's the only ones that keep coming up. So I'm not gonna try to force. Yep, that moss agate. I'm probably late. Let's see. Oh, I only on Instagram. Cause that's another thing, with that energy, and I hold myself accountable for this too. It's like, oh, and let me not take it there, cause I might be making an assumption, but if you're mean, cause you may mean you don't subscribe to Instagram in the sense of like you don't have an Instagram account. Well, just like with any store or any app, or just like with a website, that's also on a computer, just like Instagram, you would just have to create your Instagram, you know, to message me and order something from me on my Instagram until my website is up. You know what I'm saying? Simply put, because it's the same thing. Again, I realized, and this is something I had to, again, like I realized I would be dealing with myself because it's like, hey, you can't get mad at a person that don't want to get on Instagram, or in essence, because it's still certain little things you be like putting fear behind, or like, or not say fear, but it is like fear of not trusting yourself. Because like most people, like, oh, I don't deal with Instagram because of the this, that, and the third. What, you don't trust yourself to just go straight to my, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, people post is just gonna jump out and somebody post is just gonna eat me alive, so I don't go on Insta. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being aware of like the certain levels of powerlessness we may subscribe to. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. In the sense of like with having like a certain fear towards technology, or again a lack of trust. Because like I would tell anybody, like with that vibe of like, oh, I just don't want to get caught. You don't have to. One of the ways, matter of fact, and look at, if you want to take it to that level, you create your Instagram, you go straight to Epic Lifestyles. If they have like certain posts that pop up and it's that, where it's like that for you, where it's like, I don't want to see nothing on Instagram. Again, like I think about when I first started my growth to like pull myself away from like seeing all kind of shit, or if I needed to like open up my Instagram to go do something but I didn't want to see the post, like I would just hold my hand over my computer screen where I could only see the little top part, where I couldn't really see the post, like, because I knew it would open up where the post was, so I would just kind of hold my hand over that part just to, you know what I'm saying? Because Cause again, from YouTube, like, cause if you're on YouTube, YouTube be posting shit about like all kind of little shit. I even be feeling like that with my YouTube sometimes. Like, man, I don't want to see all this shit. I ain't subscribed to none of these people to be watching none of this shit on the news. But it's on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you want to check out some dope pieces that I got, you know what I'm saying, you might just want to make it Instagram, just to message that's all you gotta do is just message me. You know what I'm saying? Or you could look at the page, because again, my page has the latest posts, or should I say my page has on it the latest pieces I've created. Or you could just ask me, hey, what you got in stock, and I could, send you pictures, or again, I'll show you the posts that are still available. You know what I'm saying, on that level. Because I got a couple of star sapphire pieces, got some green sapphire pieces, and again, all of this is helping to fund my trip to Arizona. It was greatly appreciated in the mutual exchange of support, because that's another thing too. I realized to not look at it like, oh, somebody supporting me, like, hey, support my business, or this. Like, no, it's a mutual exchange of support. You ain't supporting me, and I ain't supporting you in the sense of like where it's just one-sided. It's like it's a mutual exchange of support. You're getting a functional art piece, you know what I'm saying, that has copper, made out of copper, so the copper gonna help. The crystal is gonna help with your energy field, you know what I'm saying, and it's put together in an artistic way with certain intentions, you know what I'm saying, like you getting supported, and then I'm getting supported with, some type of some form of currency flow, you know what I'm saying. But it's a mutual exchange, because I realize again, like that vibe of like just saying, oh, I'm being supported by people who buy stuff. It's like, that's like saying that the money, like the only thing valuable in the exchange is the money. Like the art piece ain't shit, in essence, I ain't shit, you know what I'm saying. I, again, like, because I don't even want to joke and say, like, yeah, I'm the shit, like, I'm worthy, all that good stuff. But just in the joking sense of it, though, like real talk, it's like hypothetically speaking, again, like devaluing yourself and what you do, like whatever goods or service that you provide. It ain't just people supporting, like, hey, support my business. Like, no, you supporting as well. Like unless in some way, form, or fashion, whatever your business or service is something that really ain't supporting. But I don't know of anything that's, again, if it's a good or service, it has to be providing some type of something, because even if it don't have no function, it may put a smile on a person's face or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has some type of thing it does that is in service of. But yeah, Miss Spiritually Inclined, you're gonna have to be Instagrammed inclined a little bit too. With all the love. And I'm joking and saying that because you don't, you could literally sit here and say, hey, I'm not looking for a piece until you create a website, and that's perfectly okay, because you have that, again, ain't nobody trying to control you. There you go, Piccolo son. I say sweating his hand while holding the different crystals. Yep, that's a connection. And again, crystals, and that's why, again, like cleansing and clearing these crystals. As a matter of fact, again, it's still going, the full moon's still going to be somewhere full tonight even, you know what I'm saying? So putting those crystals out, even tonight, set a certain intention. Words to the horn that just blew. You know what I'm saying? And in control of emotions help cleanse the blood too. Yeah, so and that's another thing I realized in my Tai Chi book by Montauk Chia, how the liver stores emotions. And no coincidence that, again, the liver deals with the yellowish green color, and most yellowish green crystals help with, healing emotions, especially dealing with, and they deal with the inner child aspect or the Leo aspect. Hence, the birthstone for Leo is peridot. It's almost like a cusp between the solar plexus and heart chakra in essence. It's like that energy. Virgo. Yep. Clearing out anxieties. And detoxifying, because that's also with serpentine. Serpentine working with the liver, detoxifying. And then also serpentine has a high magnesium content. Also, I brought up Numite for the activating the shaman energy, but also Numite with having a lot of magnesium in it, and helping with, again, like helping with the nervous system, because magnesium helps the nervous system to not feel so overwhelmed, by the electrical surges in our system in connection with anxieties. Yeah, I'm far behind. Let's see. Ooh, yep, and that's another one I didn't name. Thank you, reflection. Bringing up shaman stone, or the moki, what they call it, moki balls as well. But the shaman stone definitely, shaman stones definitely got that vibe. Oh, appreciate the donation, Chris Colvin. Greatly appreciate it. Yes, I did answer your question, Ascended Master Brittany. Oh, dang, and since I'm right here, because I got my little tablet that actually, and I wrote down, that's probably deep in here, but like a bunch of crystals for working with that energy. As far as, again, like activating that shaman energy. Oh, it's probably on this. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, again, black obsidian, because I also, again, working with the past life chakra. Also, with tapping in with the insight, too. Can't forget about old lapis. Lapis lazuli. Here we go. I know I had a list somewhere, and it's on my list. Matter of fact, that's probably why I say lapis at the last minute just now. Crystals for the subconscious: moonstone, labradorite, black obsidian, lapis lazuli, moldavite, numite, indigo gabbro, and let's see. All right, and that's it. But to embrace the shadow self, or to embrace imperfections, Also, malachite, kunzite, kyanite, and smoky quartz. Because again, black obsidian and rose quartz is kind of like a nice little combination for like a 1-2 punch of, like, the black obsidian bringing up these aspects that has been tough for us to accept and appreciate, and the rose quartz allowing for us to love that aspect of self. And hittite, which is a spudamine related to kunzite. Hittite is also be great for the gratitude and self-love as well. Look, I'm about to. Are you plant-based, Brijanelle? I eat as healthy as possible. I've been doing better, but for the most part, yeah, I don't eat meat. Yeah, yo, I'm about to shoot out. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. Again, remember, hit the like button, subscribe, press the notification bell, but most importantly, like button and sharing. You know what I'm saying? The subscription aspect, the subscription cool, you know what I'm saying? And the notification aspect, that's up to you. But definitely, again, if you're vibing with the insight and info, hitting the like button so it could show up more in the algorithms, you know what I'm saying? Again, any and all donations greatly appreciated. The donation links are underneath all of my videos, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that good stuff. We connected, because again, just like nature, you know what I'm saying, is in abundance and prosperity. You and I deserve to be abundant and prosperous as well, you know what I'm saying? Exchanging these different energies, again, is a mutual exchange. Oh, that's a big word right there, Amber. Samia. I want to be French with it and say Samie, and just turn that L silent. Is it? Yeah. Samie. Somier. That's what it sounds like it would be. Somier. Yeah, and again, with this Cancer full moon, again, don't forget, put your crystals out, let them get cleansed, in connection with, and again, keeping in mind whatever energy you want, whether it's because I like to keep in mind both aspects, Western astrology, Cancer, Vedic astrology, be Gemini, depending on the degrees, you know what I'm saying? But from it being a full moon in Cancer, from that perspective, like tapping in to the home, tapping into the mother energy, our intuition, our self-love, self-care, setting healthy boundaries, you know what I'm saying? Again, like the state of our family, connection with family, or what family means to us, you know what I'm saying? Connecting, whether it's connecting with blood, soul fam, or a little mixture of both, however that works for you, you know what I'm saying? Again, being aware, it'll kind of be tapped in with our root chakra, you know what I'm saying? So being connected with the root, and again, and definitely connecting with the divine feminine with that perspective, it being the mother perspective. And if it was because again, the Vedic astrology does astronomy as well, Because if you did really go look at a site that looks at the stars and you look at it, actually the moon would be in most likely be in Gemini, not Cancer. So that's why I see where people that tap into that perspective, connecting that way. But again, being aware of the Gemini energy, communication, balancing the masculine and feminine energies within. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with our wittiness, our intellect and awareness, basically like the Mercury energy. Matter of fact, like with the Mercury in retrograde energy, you know. And again, the moon deals with our emotions, so, we don't want to be too overwhelmed. All right, you want to sniff? Because it's a quick one I could answer before I go. Ascended Master Brittany. First and foremost, as it always comes to mind, is amber, because amber is great for babies when they teething. It helps them deal with the pain for their teething. And amber is also a crystal that's not so like overwhelming, and it works with the lower chakras. And with that being said, any crystals that will work with the lower chakras in general, so any red, orange or yellow crystals, but more so like red and orange, or definitely red, like things that are help for their earliest stages of development. I think one time I prescribed to somebody, giving a piece to their child, a leopard skin jasper, because that helps to attune the body, you know what I'm saying, and create like a certain awareness and health within the body, you know what I'm saying, first and foremost, so yeah, but amber, definitely not the name, not matter of fact, not Miss Amber Ellis that's in the chat, but the crystal amber, but technically this shit, we walking crystals, you know what I'm saying, the same thing, indirectly, you know what I'm saying, but yeah. Non-live stream, peace. Yep. Now it's a vibrate, y'all know what it is. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right? Nah. Peace.